Today, we're making dessert! Dessert! So we're making pumpkin pie, crustless, grainless pumpkin pie filling. And we just put it in a dish, like a 12 by 12 dish, whatever. And instead of using flour and eggs and all that stuff, we just use gelatin. So if you have any egg allergies and grain allergy, which everybody does, then this is a fantastic recipe. It's just the gelatin is what people get freaked out about. They don't really know how to use gelatin.
That's the hardest part about it, really.
So we're gonna have Kim show us how to use gelatin.
Okay, let's do it.
Gelatin.
So this is actually a bulletproof recipe, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with using our unflavored Great Lakes gelatin. We get this on Thrive, so
you can get it on Amazon too.
You can get it anywhere, yeah. So we're gonna use method 2, which is on here, which is actually for hot liquids, but you have to start using cold liquids. So I could open this. I reserved some of our coconut milk, our canned coconut milk here from Thai Kitchen, organic. I reserved some of it. I put some aside. Let's see how much is actually here. Like 4 tablespoons. So I'm going to pour this cold coconut milk in here first. Then we're going to use 3 tablespoons of gelatin. So I'm going to pour the gelatin over top of the cold liquid, sprinkle it around, and we're not going to mix it yet. We're just going to kind of sprinkle it around.
That's called blooming it, for the fancy technique words.
Right, so it's going to absorb it all, and we're going to let it sit for like a minute. And we have some hot coconut milk that's done already, which after about a minute or so, we are going to incorporate some of that and then mix it all together. So what we have so far in our Blendtec blender here, we have organic canned pumpkin. We have bulletproof brain octane. So this is really, any coconut oil will work. This is already in liquid form. But if you want to use regular coconut oil, it's 5 tablespoons for this recipe. You will need to melt it down first. We have Ceylon cinnamon, Primal Palette pumpkin pie spice.
Pittsburghers, they're fantastic.
Let's see what else here. Our gelatin, we talked about that. The recipe I think actually calls for xylitol, but we found this ginormous bag of monk fruit on Amazon, which is erythritol, right? It's erythritol.
And monk fruit combined.
And monk fruit combined. And these are usually teeny tiny bags, and we were so excited to get a huge bag here. The coconut milk that we used in this recipe, and it's always successful, is Thai Kitchen, organic.
Coconut milk can be iffy.
It can be. Sometimes, different cans do not work as well. You want full fat. You always want full fat. Do not get the low fat kind. And then this is, there's our minute, Sunny Day Organics Vanilla Bean Powder. So you could use just regular liquid vanilla, but vanilla bean powder is just so good. It's really, really good. It's expensive, but it's really good.
Way expensive.
Way expensive. Okay, so now that our gelatin, let's see here, it's still moving around a little bit, so.
That's okay.
It's blooming though. You can see it's like a carpet almost. It's starting to absorb it all. See that? So that's pretty good. So what we're going to do now is add some hot liquid to it.
So past our fried chicken over here, we have...
Baked, not fried.
Baked, sorry. We have hot coconut milk.
And we're just going to pour some into this.
Do you need a fork?
I do need a fork.
What was that lump?
Just coconut milk, I guess.
Okay. And you just whisk it in.
We're going to incorporate it now. Once it blooms, you don't have nearly as many problems. If you don't let it bloom correctly, it gets real chunky. So you have to do that first process first with the cold water and then get it into the hot water. Your way here. So you'll see there are still a few chunks in here. Might need to work out, but eventually this is all going to get blended as we expected. So I've done it before, the gelatin, usually with water and not coconut milk, so I don't know if maybe the fat content had something to do with it. But either way, ultimately you don't want there to be any lumps in there. So what I did was I took what we had and I just blended it real quickly and it removed the lumps. So it's going to get blended anyway, so that might have just been an additional step. I'm not sure if it was necessary, but we did it anyways just to make sure that all the gelatin was completely absorbed.
It's just important that the gelatin gets some hot liquid to activate it, kind of. And you could look at 100 YouTube videos that show you really easily how to use Great Lakes gelatin.
Right, so
pouring that in there.
Yep, there's some gelatin. I'm in the way here. It's kind of stuck in there, but at least it's not real lumpy.
Is that all the milk?
We need more milk. Yeah,
Okay.
there's more milk. It's not all of it. This is just what I use for the gelatin. So there's that part. Here is the rest of the canned coconut milk. And then we are just gonna blend it all up.
Your old blenderator.
Blend tech. So it's gonna be loud for a second. On.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna scrape down the sides a little, probably blend it again, and then we're gonna pour it into our pie dish here. You just pour this.
And that's it. Like, we just made it. We put it in the fridge until it hardens up. It might be an hour, it might be 3 hours,
So
but
I'll actually throw it in the freezer.
oh.
I'll throw it in the freezer for about an hour, and then it's probably good to go after that point. Only because I want to eat it now.
Yeah.
But you could just set it in the fridge overnight, and you're good to go.
It hardens up pretty fast. I mean, it jellifies pretty fast. So that's it. We'll let you guys see how the finished product is too.
And we will post the recipe too.
Yeah. We had the pumpkin pie sitting for about an hour and a half in the freezer to set, and
Here it is.
you can see.
You can tell.
Yeah, it actually. But be careful. It actually is kind of like jello-y. We probably could cut it back to 2.5 tablespoons, but when you actually cut into it, it's like a pumpkin pie.
You want it?
That's our Hello Kitty fork. But it's really good.
Just good old pumpkin pie.
Yeah. And if you don't want to use like xylitol or erythritol, use maple syrup and honey, you know? Or use coconut sugar.
Stevia, you could do stevia.
I'm never stopping doing
It's
it.
really good.
So it's a little more, we've made this a couple of times, and this is a little more jello-y than normal. I'm not sure why. We use the same amount of ingredients, but it is so good.
Mm-hmm. Stacey, it's just like regular pie filling. I knew you were going to do that. I mean, we have a whole nother pie, but I'm just a little bit mad because I wanted another bite.
Really good.
This is really rude. Anyways, so we'll get the recipe posted. It's egg-free, which is great. It's nut-free. We use coconut milk products. There's no nuts in it. And
it's gone.
And it's gone. All right.
Have a good one.